doing today? Um, Hope everyone is having a good day today and all is well with everyone. I am wanting to review The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 5. And just before we get into that, go over housekeeping. So Section 107 of the Copyright Act, Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 says that there is allowance for fair use of copyright material for such purposes as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research as examples of activities that might qualify as fair use. So everything I say is in my own opinion, but I'm basically just going to be reviewing the episode scene by scene and giving my commentary as we go along. So sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. Okay, so first episode we have, so this is episode 5. Episode 5, picks up, where 4 left off, obviously, where Brit was going crazy and talking about she had pows and sticks and rocks and all kinds of shenanigans. Just, she didn't threaten Kenya directly, but indirectly, it was like a threat. It was a low-key threat, She was just doing too much, a lot of rah-rah. But, Kenya did not like that. She didn't appreciate it. So, Kenya took it, as a threat. So, episode 5 opens up with them discussing last night. So, it says that they go over to Shamia's house. Shamia invites the girls over to her house to discuss a recap of what happened. And so Angela comes over and they're talking, and Shamia basically tells Angela she appreciates her accepting her apology, and she's thankful that they're in a better place now and they're able to get along. And to be honest, actually, I like that. I like their relationship now. It seems like Angela and Shamia are cool with each other now. They get along, and they're kind of, they have this bond, this beautiful bond now. Started out shaky, they were throwing shade at each other and each other's necks. But now that they have made up and they look like they have a nice relationship now. Angela says, she's the one that wrote that question that Brit asked. And so, let me back up too. Brit comes over. So it's Angela, Brit, and Shamia at Shamia's house. And so Angela says that she's the one who wrote that question that Brit was asking Kenya. And then Shamia was like, okay, well then you do feel that way. You do feel that Kenya, be disrespecting Brit, or she's rude to Brit. So you must have felt that way in order for you to ask that question. And then Angela's like, no, I mean, yes and no, She asked that question because remember in that one episode when Angela and Brit met up, Brit shared with Angela that she didn't like how she didn't like how Kenya was treating her. She didn't like how Kenya was talking to her. So Brittany shared that with Angela. So Angela, felt like she wanted to know why. And so she put that as one of the questions of the game. And so but and Kenya was not having it. She was not trying to answer that question. She was not trying to give Brit any time. So and she was like, oh, I am the moment. I'm not going to give you the moment you're looking for a moment. That's what triggered it. Like that's what set it off. So I do agree with Brit in that regards, because Kenya has been like dismissing her, being very dismissive of her, and she does not like that, So that was that scene. So Shamia, Brit, Angela at Shamia's house discussing what happened the night before. So then next we have Kenya. So the next scene is Kenya and Portia at the Kenya Moore Hair Spa. I don't know why every time I say Kenya Moore Hair Spa, I can't just say it normally or professionally. I have to like sing it. Kenya Moore Hair Spa. Kenya Moore Hair Spa. So I mean, look, it's a cute little ring to it, and I kind of feel like Kenya might have ruined her hair spa business, because that what she did. Well, anyway, we're gonna get to that part, but it was so distasteful. Anyway, let me not get ahead of myself, honey. Okay, so Portia meets Kenya at the hair spa, and they are talking. And Portia comes in with this cute yellow outfit. The yellow looks good on her skin. I like that outfit. And then they're, talking and having a little kiki moment. And with Kenya and Portia. And it's nice to see Kenya and Portia getting along because, in the past, they weren't getting along. They were, arch enemies and throwing shades at each other. So it's cool to see them in a happy place and they're getting along and they're kikiing, going back and forth, laughing and making jokes. And then Kelly comes. Kelly, always a fashionista. I love how she's always dressed so nice to the nines. She's always looking cute. So like I said, Kelly's starting to grow on me. Kelly is starting to grow on me, guys. And I hate to say this, Angela's starting to grow on me too. So the only one that I really don't like out of the new girls is really Brit, But I like Kelly now. Angela's still growing on me, and Brit, and Drew. I don't like Drew. I've never liked a Drew from day one. So y'all people who are Team Drew, I'm sorry, not. So after Kelly comes, Kenya tells them that she's going to have like a hair show. So she wants them to help her select the models or, look at the models or whatever for the hair show that she is going to have at the opening of the Kenya Moore Hair Spa. So they do that and they have the models come out and the models, are cute. And so that was that scene. Okay, so let me see. So then, so then they're talking about the situation with Brittany after the models leave, after the model selection, the Kelly, Portia, and Kenya are talking about the incident at the dinner, and Kelly's kind of like taking up for her and stuff. Which, what is a friend supposed to do? And then Kenya's like, I know what I heard. I heard what she said. I know what I heard. And then Portia says, we just all need to sit down and get to the bottom of it. What made her, say that? What made her react that way? So that was that scene. So they were like, we have to get to the bottom of it. And they need to have what they should have did was Kenya and Brit should have had to sit down and they should have talked about it. It was serious, but it wasn't that serious. And I don't think that she directly made a threat to her. She was just talking shit and she was just let her know, like, look, I'm not the one to be messed with. You keep on dismissing me and ignoring me and being rude and disrespectful to me and treating me any kind of way. You don't treat the other girls that way. You only treat me that way. And Brit felt some type of way and she said what she said. Now, what Brit did is not right. She was wrong as well. She's wrong. And I'm not making excuses for her, but what I'm saying is I can see what triggered her to do and say what she did. So that was that scene. So the next scene, we have Angela meeting up with her daughter at a coffee shop to discuss their family drama. And, and her daughter's telling her that she got into it with her aunt and her grandma, which is Angela's mother and Angela's sister. And she says something about she wanted to use the car that Angela had bought them, and they were acting funny towards her, and they wouldn't let her use the vehicle. And then the daughter's telling Angela, you shouldn't support them anymore. You shouldn't take care of them financially like you have been. I mean, I don't know. I kind of felt like she was wrong to say that to her because, for one, like Angela told her, that's her mother. You're the child. You're the kid. Like, Angela taking care of you as well. And I felt like she should be telling Angela, you need to stop taking care of, my grandma, my auntie. Maybe the auntie, because the auntie should be grown enough to take care of herself. I could see that. The auntie should be able to fetch for herself. But the grandma, I felt like she should be telling Angela how to take care of her own mom. And you can kind of tell the relationship that Angela has with her daughter. It's more like friends. She said she was her best friend. So it's not like a mother-daughter relationship. Where there's some discipline. It's more like of girlfriend. Like, that's her bestie. That's her friend. So I guess that's where the daughter talks to her in a kind of way and does whatever. And then, Angela in her confessional shares that her mom was ill and that her mom has bipolar. And she was sad to hear that her mom and her sister had mistreated her daughter because that's her baby, and she feels like she has to protect her daughter, and rightly so. And then her daughter, Angela actually brings up to her daughter that her daughter was married, and Angela did not know. She didn't know, and it was 4 months afterwards that she found out that her daughter was married. And she, in her confessional, she was crying. She was upset about that. And I agree with Angela. That was wrong. The daughter should have told her mom that she was married or she was getting married. And I feel like we need to know more about that. Obviously, there's a backstory. There's a reason why she didn't tell her mom she was getting married. There's a reason why she did the things that she did. And then it's crazy because just a few minutes ago, I said how close they are. They have a close relationship. Their relationship is more like a bestie and best friends versus, like a disciplinary mom and daughter relationship. So my thing is, like, if you guys are best friend, young lady, why you didn't tell your mother that you were married or you were getting married? So that right there, there's something going on. And I need Bravo to go deep into that storyline and show us that storyline. I want to know what happened to where the daughter felt like she couldn't tell her mother she got married. And then who did she marry? Did she marry a man or a woman? Like, what's going on? Like, what's really going on? I need a backstory to this, because it makes me feel like maybe she married someone that Angela does not like, or Angela does not want her to be with, and that's why she didn't tell Angela that she was married. But that was wrong. I felt that was very wrong of the daughter to do that. And then in the same breath, and then she has the nerve to tell Angela, oh, you need to stop, taking care of my grandma financially. In the same breath. And then you're the same girl that went off and got married and didn't tell your mom. Like, girl, bye. I didn't like that. I'm sorry, y'all. I did not like that. So, I don't know. She just, to me, her daughter came off as a spoiled, entitled child. And, then Angel also shared that her daughter's father was killed, when they lived in Chicago. He was killed when she was a baby, a young girl. I think she said when she was like 2 or 3 years old. So I feel like Angela's probably always felt bad about that and kind of like babied her daughter because of that. And it's not Angela's fault that, that he was murdered. But I just feel like that's the reason why this little girl acts the way she does. Just entitled and spoiled. I really didn't care for that scene as far as how she was talking to Angela. Anyway, let me move along because I can just go on and on about that, I guess. So next scene we have is Brit and Portia meeting up at a restaurant to discuss the drama, from the dinner at the bank. So basically, Portia basically was like, okay, girl, what's going on? Like, why did you say that? Why did you do that? What's going on with you? And, and Brit admits that she was wrong. She admitted that she was wrong, and she said that she's very sorry, and she didn't want Kenya to feel any kind of way. She just was triggered by Kenya, and she feels like Kenya's been coming for her since day one, and she just felt like sometimes Kenya be putting on for the camera when she's around the girls, trying to show up, and then Brit feels like Kenya be trying to manhandle her, like she tries to sun her every time she sees her, and every time she's in the scene with her. So it was just a trigger for her, and she kind of just went left. So that was that scene. Next scene, We have Angela at her home telling her husband Charles that she's getting ready to go to Kenya's hair spa. And and one thing about Charles, honey, every time they show Charles, he's always in the kitchen cooking. Always in the kitchen cooking. Obviously, Charles loves to cook. And it's funny because now they're calling Angela Nettie and Charles and Nettie. So it's like, it's, on theirs, it's like, she's like, Charles, your dinner's ready. But this is the opposite. Charles is telling Angela, your dinner's ready, tell her to wash her hands and stuff. And then, the shady cameraman goes back and shows her washing her hand. But so Angela tells Charles that Portia was talking about him. She was talking ish about him, and it sounded like she knew something. She knew some information about him. And then he was like irritated by that, because he was like, okay, so why didn't you check her? She over here talking ish about me. You were supposed to put a stop to her right then and then. You were supposed to check her. Don't come back at me with what Portia said or was Portia trying to say. You were supposed to, handle that right there and take care of it. And she's like, I did, I did, and I tried. I'm just letting you know what Portia was saying. So he was irritated. He didn't like that at all. He did not like that at all. But, and he was saying, Portia don't know me. She doesn't know me. Like, what she know about me? So, and I feel like my opinion is Portia just said that to kind of like move the story along. I feel like she just threw that out there to see what sticks. I feel like this season, Portia has been saying and doing a lot of shit that's just not part of Portia's character. Like, she's out of character for me. Like, and I'm team Portia. I like Portia. But thus far, she's been doing the most. And I feel like she's doing the most because, she can't film in her house like she wanted to because of the divorce with Simon, and Simon putting the cease and desist on her. So she's not able to film in her house and film, her marriage film like how she wanted to film. Especially when they first announced that Portia was coming back, she was like, remember, she was like, Portia Williams is not coming back, but Portia Gabadia is coming back. So that's what she said, when it was first announced that she was coming back, and it was this big deal, and it was all this big fanfare, and the media and the blogs, everybody went crazy. Everybody was looking forward to seeing Portia, the money, the house, her marriage and relationship with Simon. So everybody's been looking for that. Like, we was looking forward to that. So, and it fell flat. It fell completely flat. So this whole season has not been about has not been about Portia and Simon. It's been pretty much about everybody else on the show but Portia. And Portia has been like playing like the side person, but then coming out with these crazy antics. And I think she's just doing that because it's not the storyline that she had wanted us to see in the storyline that it was intended for. So now she has to like figure out, she's just coming up with anything. And I feel bad for her because I do like Portia, but hopefully next season we get a better Portia. But this season we have a messy Portia. So that was that scene. So I went on and on about that. So the next thing is Kenya at the Kenya Moore hair spa. She's getting ready for her grand opening, and then then they also shows Kelly on her way to the hair spa, to the hair salon. And then they show Cynthia arriving. They show Portia arriving. And Kenya's there with the big hair and a purple dress. She looks beautiful and crazy at the same time. No, just kidding. She looks beautiful. And so everybody's there for the grand opening of Kenya's hair salon. And I like how Portia and Kenya were taking up for Cynthia. Portia and Cynthia was taking up for Kenya. Lord have mercy. What is wrong with me? I'm just getting everybody's names mixed up. Y'all forgive me. Please forgive me. I'm messing everybody's name up. Portia and Cynthia were taking up for Kenya and were saying, how they are proud of her, how they are happy that she is opening her hair salon. This has been a long time coming, which is true, because if you follow the show, Kenya has been talking about a salon for a while. So this is a long time coming. This is her dream, and we are all everybody was happy for Kenya. So that part, it is true. And then also they showed Miss Lawrence. Oh, I like Miss Lawrence, and I was so happy to see Miss Lawrence on my TV screen. And he has come a long way, and I was so glad to see him. And then they show Angela Oakley arriving. Now, Angela, she looked beautiful in that dress, y'all. She looked beautiful in that dress. And like I said, Kelly and Angela have grown on me. They have grown on me, and I am starting to fall in love with them slowly but surely. But like the first 2 seasons, I was looking at all the new girls sideways, but those 2 have won me over. But Angela looked beautiful. And then they pan over to Kelly and Brit. They're in the same vehicle on their way to the hair salon. They're showing them arriving, on their way over there. So then they show the hair contest. So they're showing the hair show contest, and it was a good look for that as well. And then they show Drew arriving late per usual. She's always late. She is always late. So then Kenya tells the security guard, make sure you only allow people who have this, I think it was pink. She's like, let only people who have this pink bracelet on into the place. So she's low-key trying to make sure that Brit doesn't get in. So then they have Kelly and Brit arrive together to the hair spa. So then Brit brings flowers and a card to give to Kenya. So she comes in, they come in together. She comes in, Brit gives Kenya the flowers and the card. Well, she tries to, and Kenya just ignores her. She just ignores her. She acts like she wasn't there. And then before that part, before Kelly and Brit came, they were showing Kenya, it looked like she was in the back drinking. It's like she had to take shots. She had to drink to get ready for the bullshit that she was about to do. Okay? For the BS. So she had to go back there and drink and get herself good and ready. But when they came in and Brit tried to give her the flowers, she didn't want them. She just ignored her. And Brit was coming in peace. She was trying to show her that she was sorry. She was trying to show her that she regret what she said. But Kenya was not trying to hear it, honey. Kenya was on demon time. Kenya wanted to go straight to hell, and that's exactly what she did. Then they showed Drew coming up to Portia, trying to give Portia a hug. And Portia's like, look, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. I've heard of all the shady stuff that you have been doing. You try to film with Dennis. You're working with Dennis, trying to film with Dennis. And then, one of her staff members, had told Portia that Drew had reached out to him. So she was not trying to hear it. Portia was not trying to hear it, so she walked away from Drew. So then we have the BS starts. Okay. So Kenya comes after she'd been drinking or whatever. She comes and she tells everybody, she gets on the mic and she tells everybody, everybody get to, come here or whatever, gather along, whatever. She gathers everybody. And Kenya basically starts talking ish about Brit. She said that someone tried to come for her. She said, I'm that bitch. I've been that bitch. I will always be that bitch. And she talks about how Brit was coming for her. And then she was like, who is this hoe? And then she puts pictures of Brit in compromising positions. Basically, RP, basically it's RP. And this scene was terrible. I didn't like it, and everybody was just clutching their pearls. Everybody was upset. They couldn't believe their eyes. They couldn't believe what they were seeing, because Kenya had went down to hell. I mean, okay, Kenya, I can understand you being upset for what Brittany did and what Brit said was wrong. She actually didn't even do anything. Brit just said stuff, and what she said was not nice, and it was wrong. But for Kenya to go as far as she went, I felt like Kenya was wrong. Brit was wrong and Kenya was wrong. Neither one of them were right. There are some people taking up for one or the other. I feel like I can't take up for Kenya and I can't take up for Brit. They were both wrong. But if you had asked me which one was worse, Kenya was worse. What Kenya did was worse than what Brittany did, because to expose that girl like that, and then to take the time, effort, and money to find somebody to dig up those pictures, and for you to go make posters and have the posters at your grand opening. And this is supposed to be your establishment, your business that you are building for your daughter. And you were just crying on the other episode talking about you feel like this business is not going to be successful, and that you spent all this money and you spent Brooklyn's college fund and you don't even know if you're going to be able to make it back. But then to turn around and do what you did, you sabotaged yourself. Kenya, you sabotaged yourself. You destroyed your own business. You destroyed your own brand. Nobody did nothing to you. Everything that you did it to yourself. And I am so disappointed in you, because I thought that you would be bigger than that, and that you would be a better person, and that you have come a long ways. Because, I mean, before she had Brooklyn, and, if you follow this show like I have since day one, I've been a fan of this show since day one. I've been watching it from season 1, episode 1. And Kenya, I mean, in the past, she did have some insane, crazy, just, she was doing the most. And after she had Brooklyn, she had calmed down. Life was lifing for her. And you thought she got older and wiser. And for her to do what she did and stoop low as she did, I think it is disgusting and is horrible. And nobody deserved to be treated the way Kenya treated Brit. And Brit ain't no angel, but Kenya was wrong. She was wrong. I didn't like it. And everybody was upset too. Portia was upset. Portia did not want to film anymore. Portia was like, take my mic. I don't want to film anymore. Take my mic off. I don't even want it to be known that I was at this party. Portia was like, delete me from history in terms of the Kenya Moore hair spa history. Portia was like, delete me from that. Delete me. I wasn't even here. That's what Portia was saying. Portia was disgusted. Cynthia was disgusted. Everybody was disgusted, but some people just still stuck around and stayed inside the hair salon with Kenya. People like Manetta, Minley, whatever her name is, and then the other girl who's Kenya's friend. They stuck around in there, but everybody else got the hell out. Kelly was one of the first people to leave. Kelly left, Angela left, Portia left, Shamia left. So I'm very disappointed with Kenya. That's all I can say. So that was the episode. That was episode 5. Episode 5. And that was Kenya, I think, last episode as well. And Kenya didn't have any confessionals, leading up to this, from episode 1 to episode 5. She didn't have no confessionals. So after that had aired, Bravo said that they had stopped filming with Kenya. They stopped filming with Kenya. Basically, Kenya got fired after that. And to be honest with you, I'm sorry. Like, what do you expect? I'm not mad that they fired Kenya. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it at all. So you reap what you sow, man. You reap what you sowed, and she sowed. She was on demon time. She went straight to hell. You know, she didn't listen to Michelle Obama. Michelle said, when they go low, we go high. But Kenya said, when they go low, we go lower. We go to hell. That's what Kenya said in response to Michelle Obama. Shout out to Michelle Obama. But yeah, that's just crazy. But anyway, I'm going to stop right here. I can go on and on, but I'm going to stop right here. So that was Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 5. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Please subscribe to the channel. As you can see, I don't have hardly any subscribers, so please subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share, but more importantly, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and have a good day, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Bye.